All right, welcome everybody to another Hobby CNC with Dave. This is episode, I don't have any idea. uh, I don't know, and I don't care. But anyway, let me I got a skeleton crew right now. I think Ryan's on his way back home. He was helping out somebody getting their car taken care of. So got just me and the Mr. Paul tonight till Ryan sneaks in here. But I'm trying to read your comment, Jerry. Let me bring this back up here. NEMA 23 closed loop steppers keep having random red light errors, blinking 5 times and repeating. Unplugged and reset many times, lost much material and hours. Never 17s, worked great all the time. All right, now is this on that machine that you're doing all those upgrades to, where you made the aluminum parts and all that? I don't know. I don't know enough about your situation there to be able to offer any guidance as far as why the NEMA 23s are messing up. I mean, if they're giving you some kind of an alarm, something's going on with them. It's the closed loop is letting you know that it's losing steps, and that's usually what it'll do is stop if it can't correct itself to get caught back up. So don't know the whole deal on that. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's not your big one. That's not that big old.
It's the one he said he upgraded it to 1300 by 1300.
Okay, but that's not because you already had one that was 1300 by 1300. I think I mean, that's the way it came. I think so. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you get it straightened out. Like I said, I don't really know much about that system to be able to help you out much. Okay, machine keeps running. Just said motor stops running. Video out tonight at midnight. All right. Well, I'll watch it in the morning then. Yeah, Andy says, oh, he's asking, will the G code tell you the error code? It should. I would think that it should tell you what the error code is on the controller, I would think. I don't know. Well, I got a few different little things to talk about. Some of them CNC related, some of them not. But I got to talk about this one thing, just to see what the deal is. But let me bring up let's see. Let me get a picture queued up over here. Let's bring this over here. All right, now let me share my screen. I have been seeing this kind of stuff on Facebook for, I don't know, for quite a while now. I guess pretty much all summer. Now this one that I did a screenshot of, this happens to be WSB TV, which is one of the local stations. It's the ABC station here in Atlanta. But Fox 5 has done it, and what's the other one? Something Channel 46, AGL, or I don't even know the call letters of the stations. But anyway, they've all been putting stuff similar to this on Facebook, and I've been seeing it for a long time. And you know how sometimes they kind of try to put the fear factor in you, and like giant venomous flying spiders are creeping their way from Georgia up the East Coast, and then they show this big gargantuan spider here. But these things are called Joro spiders, Joro. Says they arrived in Georgia around 2013, all the way from Japan. So I guess these things come on a boat or a plane or something. Who knows? But anyway, I've been seeing these kind of things on Facebook for months, and I'm thinking, well, I don't care. I don't see any of them. Well, let me tell you what, those freaking things are everywhere. They are everywhere. I've got, let me see if I can get, okay, let me bring this back in here. Here's one here. And if I go through, there's one, and there's one. And you might say, well, Dave, that looks like three pictures of the same spider. No, those are all three different spiders, all within about 10 feet of each other on my uh, front porch. They always like to get somewhere around my motion sensor, uh, well, not my motion sensor lights, my security cameras, because they have that little infrared light, and something about that. The spiders love to build webs all around there. But I'm telling you what, now let's say y'all can see my mouse move from the body here. This is probably a good inch, if not inch and a quarter. And this diameter of him, his whole leg, he stretches his legs out, it's probably about 3 inches diameter. I mean, these are creepy looking spiders. Now, they keep saying that they're not venomous to humans. Of course, all spiders, I think, are venomous a little bit because that's how they get their prey and stuff. But I mean, they've had people on TV and they catch them and let them crawl all over them and stuff like that. And so I don't think they're really, uh, anything to worry about it. But let me tell you these things. They make the thickest, stickiest damn web you've ever seen. And anybody that knows and have heard me talk about summertime down here in Georgia, whenever I'm outside, I'm walking with my head down because I'm looking for copperheads. Because I've seen a ton of them. Hell, I had one in the garage here one time. So I'm always looking down, watching for snakes, particularly copperheads. And these things like to build their webs about this high. And I went outside and went down my deck steps and turned and went to go. I was heading to my shop around back. And I don't know, I just happened to look up just in time. And there was one of these things like right here. And I just had almost walked through it. And I mean, he's right there in the middle of that web. And then I'm looking at and I'm like, well, let me get a stick and knock this web down. But he was from like attached to the deck and was way over here to a tree. It was a good 30 feet away. And, and then when I finally, because I couldn't find a stick right away, so I just took my hand and was trying to pull the web, and I'm like, God dang, that thing's sticky. And I mean, just gives you the creeps. But I don't know. Does anybody else have these things?
Not in Michigan. They don't allow them in Michigan.
Well, I'm fixing to move to Michigan. I need to move to a colder climate because these darn things, I mean, it's bad enough having to look everywhere you step for a snake. And now when you busy looking down, you walk right through one of them things.
Man, I couldn't live where you live. I'd never go outside.
Well, I had never, like I said, I mean, that thing just said they've been here since 2013. I've seen all kinds of other spiders, but these, they're everywhere. It's like they multiply like rabbits, I guess. And
Wade says the spiders are so bad the copperheads are looking up.
yeah, it's a mess. And a lot of times, sometimes when I'm on my little John Deere lawn tractor, you know, I got mostly woods in the back of my house, but a lot of times I'll raise the blade up on the highest setting and just ride it through there, try to keep some of the snaky stuff cut down way back there where all the trees are. And you be riding along, driving, all of a sudden you just hit one of those things because they'll go between the trees and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm just sick of these things. So I don't know. I was just wondering if anybody, I guess you'd have to be pretty far south, but because and fortunately, fall, you know, what was the first day of fall was what, a day or two ago. So uh, yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to know that they're not, you know, they're just creepy. I mean, if you go through, well, you know how it is when you go through a spider web, you doing the dance trying to get the spider off of you because you know he's on there somewhere. But I guess there's no harm as far as getting bit or anything like that. They're just annoying as hell because, like I said, their web is unlike anything. It's like rope, just you know, you take it and try to pull on it, and it just stretches, and it's real sticky and thick. So, man, I don't know. I'm about ready to send these back to Japan, but I've I've, I've gone out there with a stick and my broom and try to get hit right where the thing is, and try to get him on the end of the broom and then put him down where I can step on him. So I've got rid of a few of them, but man, it's they're just taking over here in Georgia. Thank God. I hope we have a rough winter, a good cold winter. We didn't really have one last year, but anyway, I was just thought I'd bring that up and share some good old spider pictures. Everybody loves spider pictures. Uh, but anyway, yeah, those things are a real pain in the you know what. But all right, let's. I'm gonna show you some other stuff. Now, this is kind of also non CNC related. Uh, But I mentioned, I think, and he's probably listening. He said he was listening on his way home. I mentioned the other week, I think, that my buddy Ryan sent me a link to a YouTube video, and it was about that AI stuff called Nano Banana. And he, you know, of course, I watched that video, and then I started going down the rabbit hole watching other videos about it. And I've been playing around with it. But I'm going to tell you what, I've been having a ton of fun playing around with that thing. I got another picture queued up here, but I don't know how many. Okay, there's the spider again. Let me get back here.
At first, I thought you were going to come truthful and say that spider was AI generated.
No, I wish he was. I'd just delete him then. But no, they're the real deal. Like I said, I bet you there's a half a dozen of them right at my, because on my front porch, I have just a little narrow front porch, but where the railing is up to the overhang part, they're all in there. I mean, it's almost solid. Uh, those kind of spiders. So now it's like I have to look down and up. Just I have to walk like this because if I'm, you know, if I'm not stepping on a snake, I'm walking right through one of those damn spider webs. But anyway, let me bring this picture up. And those of you that have followed me probably know I didn't do it on my Dave Gatton YouTube channel, but on my other channel that I called Old Guy Printing. It was, you know, where I did 3D printing stuff. And this is the old school. I know y'all have heard me talk about this before. This building was built in 1908. They tore it down, I think, in 1968. And this is like just a part of the building. These four doors right here, that's the gymnasium where you go in there, and then the school part was over here. But anyway, it's a really cool building. I went there first and second grade, and then Hendricks County decided to consolidate New Winchester students with Danville, so we had to go to Danville. building sat vacant for a while, and I think it got vandalized a time or two, and so they just decided to demolish it. So the building's not there. But this is the picture. This picture's probably taken, I don't know, 50s, probably sometime in the 50s, late 50s. If it was in the 60s, it would have had to have been early 60s. But I think this picture here is out of a yearbook, uh, probably 1954 to 58 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I could look it up. But anyway, I've been playing around with that AI stuff, and I took this picture, and because I have a lot of pictures, because I was trying to get my hands on every picture I could so that I could use it to model that school that I 3D printed. Uh, and let me see. So here is the picture. Now you look at this picture, and this looks like this was taken yesterday. Uh, what I did is I first put that picture I just showed, this one, into the AI, into that nano banana, and I said just a real short sentence, and it really wasn't that big of a prompt. I said, please clean up this black and white photo and colorize it like the picture was taken on a bright sunny day. And it gave me that shot of the building. So then I thought, well, man, that's really cool. It did a great job. That, like I said, you'd think you could drive back up there and that building, you'd find that building right there. So then I tried to. I said, okay, now put a small boy about 6 to 8 years old in the photo, and of course, it put it right there in the middle of the drive, right there. And then I thought, okay, well, now let me add a school bus. Now, the one thing it didn't do, when I put the school bus in, I was able to have New Winchester School on the side of the bus. So if you look close, it does have that correct. But it really put too new of a school bus. That's I don't even know what year that is, but I'm thinking that's probably a good bit older than 1963 or so, which would have been the last year we had classes there. But anyway, I thought that was a cool picture to be able to use that nano banana to take that. And then so I'll just show you. I mean, if I tried to show you all the pictures I've been playing around with, we'd be here all night. But one of the other ones I did is I made this. I put this on Facebook. Uh, Old Abe came and joined me and Jack as we were sitting there. So I mean, they got him sitting there just like he was sitting on that bench. Got his arm resting on the arm of the chair and all that. So that one worked out pretty good. And then here's one I did. This is that same view of the school building, and I loaded in the building of the bright sunny day shot that I got, and I said, okay, change the time of day to uh, just after uh, sunset, and have the interior lighting light up the gym. And this would be how it would have looked if you were going to the gym to go watch a basketball game, because that's how exactly how it would look. But that's I tell you, that AI stuff is just so much fun to play around with, and I'm addicted. I can't stop. I can't stop trying to play with it. I've done a whole bunch of pictures. Um,
Andy wants to know how you spell that. The nano banana.
Oh, the nano, but it's NANO space banana, just like a banana. What I've been using is Google Gemini 2.5. And if you go to that and then go to their prompt, you can click there's a thing that'll say create image, and when you click that, you'll see the little banana logo. That's the nano banana, and that's what you can use. And I mean, even if you don't want to dabble and do crazy stuff like putting Abe Lincoln sitting next to you or something like that, even if you just want to use it for nothing else but to take old family photos and bring them back to life, that's the way to do it. Because, like I said, well, I tell you what I can do. I don't. That's the only photos I brought out here. But let me open up Facebook over here, and I'll show you the. Because I've been posting them in the group. There's a Facebook group called New Winchester. This all us old people that we're about gone now because there's not that many of us around. But yeah, right here, let me bring this back in. This is another picture from the school, and I mean, it's just beautiful. It looks like you could, like this picture was taken yesterday. But it got the grass nice and green. That light pole used to be there. There's the flagpole, all that stuff. It picked out of that old crummy black and white photo. I don't know how it did it, but it came up with a beautiful picture. And like I said, all I used for the prompt was say, hey, clean up this black and white photo and make the picture as if it had been taken during a bright sunny day. And that's what I got. Now, if I come up here, here's some other. These were old black and white photos from the yearbooks. But here's the other one I wanted to show you. Here's that same view I just showed you, but I did the same thing. I said, hey, make this one where it's nighttime and the lights are on in the school. And then I even added the light right here on that light on that pole, that little globe light or whatever that is right there. So just cool stuff you can do with AI. So even though Ryan has sent me down that rabbit hole, I'm having a lot of fun playing around with that AI stuff. All right, let's see if we got any comments.
I just put up there, JJ Woodshop says he's been using that to make laser files.
Yes. Well, see, that's what I've been using to try to get. I mean, you can get really good laser files because with a laser you can make a sharp corner. You know, if it comes up to a real sharp point, that'll work because you can cut that with a laser. But when you're doing the V-carve inlays for these cutting boards that I've been working on, you have to go in because it'll put that sharp point. And so then I use AI to generate something cool, like that buffalo thing that I did, something similar to that. But I still have to go in and spend quite a bit of time going to all those places where it's a point and making a radius that's at least 15 thousandths radius because that's what the radius is on my tool that I'm using. So, but yeah, you can, as far as for laser stuff, you could do it. It'd be pretty much ready to just throw in there and cut it because the laser can do those sharp corners and stuff. So, good deal. Let's see. Wade says ticks are the worst thing here. Yeah, we got our share of those too. Yeah, yeah, Jerry. I guess I'm gonna have to do a DIY build on a flamethrower. That'll be my next video.
Just make sure you got a fire extinguisher handy in case you catch your siding on fire.
Yeah. Let's see. Machine US or something. Anyone have experience with the DDCS V3 as compared to Smooth Stepper internet running Mach 3? Which is better? I don't know. I've heard good things about. Well, I've run a smooth stepper with Mach 3, so I know there's no problems with that. That's what my Avid ran on. But the DDCS, I think that's that little self-contained thing, if I'm thinking right. And I've heard pretty good things about those as well. Let's see here. We got any other thing? Marcelo says, yeah, 8 hours later. So, yeah, sometimes I don't even try to keep track of how much time I'm spending editing those drawings, Marcelo, because, you know, you can be sitting there doing it and you think you've been there 30 minutes. You look and you've been there 3 hours or something. So, but you got to do it to get those things to come out right. You just got to do it. Okay. All right. So if you haven't already, and I mentioned this before, if you haven't played around with AI, do yourself a favor. Go play around with it. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And I've been working on. The main reason I wanted to do it is because I want to try to up my thumbnail game. My thumbnails have notoriously sucked throughout the years. Microsoft Paint just don't cut it for thumbnails when everybody else is using all that fancy stuff. So that was my main reason for trying to learn the AI stuff, is to help with the thumbnails. But then I kind of got on a tangent doing some of this other stuff. But I did do a couple of thumbnails today for a future video that'll be coming out in the future. So I think they'll come out pretty good. And the more you work with that AI, you kind of learn, like when you're doing your prompts, the more information you can give it, the better it understands what you want, and it'll try harder to get it for you. Like if you just say, create an image of a cow or something, well, it'll throw any old cow on there. But if you want a specific kind of cow, you want a brown cow, do you want one that's got brown and white on it? Do you want a milk cow that's white and black, or if you give it the details and all that, the more details you can give it, the better it will give you the results for. So, and I'm slowly learning that when I do something, if I do a prompt and it works pretty good, I copy and put it over in Notepad and save it. So I've got a bunch of prompts all saved from stuff that I've done that's worked out really well. And
Hey,
this Ryan, just like that.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
hello.
Dude, forget those stupid spiders. No way. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
You can't, there's no way you can turn one of them pressure washers into a flamethrower, can you?
We'll find a way.
I may need one.
I'll deal with the nope ropes.
Yeah.
Spiders are no. There was a spider. I don't know if I told you this story about like a month or so ago. I was up mowing my wife's grandparents' place, and I went to go get the lawnmower out of the garage area that's underneath the house. And man, this big giant wolf spider came out walking on the tire. I'm trying to find the picture of it. But
those things are about like tarantulas.
it was the biggest one I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, nope, I'm not even going to talk to you because you're going to sue me or something if I try to kill you. But it was not cool. Man, I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah, your mic's not sounding great. Are you on the webcam?
since I had to Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. By the way, I guess I never did ask. Uh, we got started right away with a question. Paul, you got anything you want to show? You've been working on. I know you got something shiny back there.
It's done. It's done.
That
That
Nice.
is amazing.
that's the maze from Cutting It Close
Yeah, yeah,
website made out of Bamex,
yeah,
and it's been a journey, but hey, I got it done.
yeah.
It turned
Well,
out
looks
really
good.
good.
Thank
Looks
you.
real good. All right, your turn, Ryan. You got any show and tell for tonight?
Um, well, yeah, kind of. Well, I mean, I have picture I can show you.
All
I
right,
can
we
show you.
love
Oh, yeah,
it.
I put it up on the Ranger CNC uh, Facebook group earlier today. There hasn't been a whole lot of progress or hearing about the Ranger CNC in the last several months, and so that was because I wasn't too happy with my progress on it, and wanted to change some stuff. But with everything going on around the house and everything, and summertime and blah 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 being all over the place, I just hadn't had time to mess with it. But I've been messing with it over the last week or so, and right now she's missing a gantry. So
Yep, yep.
we are we're redoing, or I'm redoing stuff on it. Decided to go away from the belts, and I'm doing 1605 ball screws on both axes. All three.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
already on one, and so it's been just been working on that, trying to get it figured out. So it had to tear down the other gantry to be able to put a new one on. So here we go. It
All
should
right.
work out pretty good though. It um, yeah, I've gotten some trying to test parts out and stuff like that of what's gonna work. I'm changing a few other things while I'm at it because I mean, if I'm gonna redo some of the gantry, might as well redo all of the gantry.
Yeah, make it like you want it.
Yeah, yeah. So um, but it's I think it's going to be pretty good once it's all wrapped up.
I dig it.
Did you see Wade's comment?
I can see the YouTube title, Ranger Gets Its Balls. Okay.
Balls screws.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, good
Gets them
deal.
back. Yeah, he
Good
had
deal.
them taken away a long time ago.
Well, if y'all were watching last week, both of you, you know that I was really frustrated because my Masso would not power up properly. And then, of course, if you watched my video that came out Friday, you know that it was dumb old me because I was trying to use a power supply that, for some reason, worked really well with the second generation Masso, but would not work with this one. And even during the show, I had sitting over there on the table, I had that little power supply brick that I had found a few minutes before the show. And I thought, well, I'm going to try that out. I don't have time now, but I'll try it out tomorrow. Well, then, you know, we, uh, we talked about it during the show. And then when the show ended, Ryan and I was hanging out and I said, hey, you're going to be on here a minute. I'm going to try that real quick. And so I went over there and it had kind of some kind of a plug on it. So I had to cut the plug off uh, and hooked it up, turned it on, and boom, it just powered right up, and all my problems were solved. Just that easy. So I took a picture of the power supply and sent it to Peter Pasqualo over there at Masso and said, "Hey, this thing's making it work really well. Is there any reason why I can't use this?" And he said, "No, that'll work perfect." So it's got a good steady. Like I said, if you watch my video, you saw me check it with my meter. It goes to 24 volts and just stays there. It doesn't fluctuate at all. So apparently, the newer Massos like it to be a lot cleaner power. So it is working like a champ. So I've had that going. Uh, I tested it out Wednesday after the show. Thought it was going to power out. Came out here Thursday, the next day, and within just a few minutes, had everything plugged in, working like a champ. And I've been using it. I pretty much look for an excuse to come out here and run something now, just because it's working so well.
It's awesome.
But I want to talk about the Masso a little bit. I'm not a Masso spokesperson or an affiliate or anything like that. I just like to talk about something and talk good about it when it's worth talking about.
Yeah, it works.
That thing, I'm gonna tell you what, there are probably 3 or 4 things that are my favorite things about that Masso, the G3 Touch. And really none of them have anything to do with actually running the machine. But one of them is because it's their big thing is, hey, you don't need a PC. It's all solid state built in right there. You turn that thing on, and I mean, I was out here and timed it earlier, and like 10 seconds is all it takes. And and I'm not talking about from the time you first see it light up, but when it's all the way booted up and ready to go, it's like 10 seconds. So that is fantastic. The other thing I really, really like about it, besides just booting up quick, is how clean the install is. I've got I got a camera lined up here. Let me turn this camera. In fact, Ryan, have you got a stopwatch on your phone?
Yeah.
Let me know when you get it set, and I'll say go when I'm going to hit the button, and we'll time it.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Go. Yep, there it is.
Just under 13 seconds.
Okay, well that was slow because it did it in just over 10. I think it was like 10.8 seconds or something when I did it earlier today. But yeah, super fast to boot up. And then of course the other thing I like is this one DB25 cable going through that little 2-piece plate I made. And then I do have a second cable since I am using that power brick, but this is the power that's all right down here plugged into a power strip. But all the pin connections and all that is just this one cable. So unlike some of these other videos we've looked at,
it doesn't have to have 300 cables coming out of the back.
It's like right here, and you got this big wad of wires going through that opening that's right here. So, I just I don't get why more folks don't get on the bandwagon and go, hey, it doesn't have to be this mess of wires. At least not here at the controller.
But the other way, it looks more technical.
Well, I suppose, I don't know. But
like you got to know stuff to hook it up.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to know plenty to hook it up the other way too. But, it's just such a nice looking thing, I think. without all that big bunch of wires right there.
Yeah.
It definitely looks better that way.
So that is, whoops, let me get this off of here.
So how does your 3D printed bracket work on the back of that? Does it work all right?
It's, well, there's that hole, there's a cutout.
No, I mean it mounts. Didn't you print a bracket to hold it to the mount?
Well, I did. I printed one out at 100% infill, but I'm not using that. I'm actually
Oh,
using, I've got another one over here. I'm actually using this metal one that came, well, let's see. Let me get, yeah, I bought two of these, but the way this works, and I may still use that 3D printed mount, but this is, it's metal, but you can see it's like, it's really flimsy metal. This came with that mount that I bought off of Amazon. But you mount this to the, there's a hole pattern, 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters on the back of the Masso. So I've got one of these to the Masso, and then this goes here, and then this slides on like that, and then it's got a screw that you can put in here to lock it in so it can't get knocked off. But it's real easy to remove because, like I said, you take this screw loose, and then you can lift the whole Masso off like that. But that's what I'm using currently. I thought, you know, I mean, it wiggles a little bit, but I really think no matter what I put on there, it's going to wiggle. It's not going to be, 100% solid. So I'm using that, and so far it's working well. I haven't had any issues with it. And it's nice because with the touchscreen now, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to get one of these, is you're really not, like with the G2, the touchscreen didn't work, so I had to take the little mouse pad of that wireless keyboard and move it, and then I had to click, so I'm kind of pushing on that whole thing, and it was, would wobble more. Well, this is such a light touch to hit the buttons, even though that's not rock solid on that little cheap mount. It works great using
Cool.
that. But so that's another thing I like about it. And then the other one that I really didn't think this was going to be that big a deal. And even when I did the video Friday, I hadn't even installed this part. But then I thought, well, I got it, so I might as well try it out. And that is, let me get it up over here. Oh, I got to move this over here. Okay, now let me share my screen again. So I went ahead and installed Masso Link because I've got the little Wi-Fi module in there, and I really thought, well, it's not that big a deal because this computer is right here, literally three or 4 feet away from that. But then when I tried this out, I thought, man, this is the stuff right here. Took a little bit to set up because I'm not good at computer stuff, so I had to figure out the what's the IP address and all that kind of stuff. But once I watched the video and said, oh yeah, I see how it works now. But anyway, you just take a file. Let me see if I can get a file open here. I'll move this over here on this side for a minute. So you just grab a file, and I'm just going to grab one and put it right here. And you can see there's the name of the file. And then once you see that show up, you just click send file and boom, it's over there.
Oh, that's neat.
Or I think, did I click it?
This is calculating.
Oh, you know what? I think that file may already be over there. I might have picked a bad example. And another cool thing about this is where it says tools data, it's got this little pop out arrow, so you can click this. Oh, it hadn't connected yet. That's what the dealio is. Why is it not connected? Here I go to
Did
show it off. It's not
you
working.
turn it back off?
Is it plugged in?
Yeah.
No, it's still on. Let me let's see. I disconnected it and then turned it back on. I don't know why it's not. Let me open this again and see. That's the first time it's ever done that. See, it knows the machine stopped. So let me grab a different file. We'll put this one over here. There it goes. I don't know what the deal was that first time, but you can see how fast it does it. And then of course, oh, I gotta, you kick this little box out and then you hit get tools data and it'll go. And so there's all your tools, just like what I have in the library on the Masso.
Huh.
So I thought, when I saw that, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And then you can generate a text file where it will print out a text file where you can print it out and see what all your tools are and all that stuff. So you can have a hard copy in case anything gets messed up. And you can also do that with a lot of your settings. You can, I think it's called Get Printable File or something, and it will send a text file so that when you go to print it out, it's got all your settings. So if something happens, instead of trying to remember all that stuff, and you should have a backup somewhere, which I do have on this computer, but you could go to your hard copy on a piece of paper and they wouldn't be lost. You could put them back in there. So, like I said, so I thought this, and I did, when I put this on there, I thought, well, this is all kind of cool, but again, it's not terribly inconvenient because, like I said, I'm 3-4 feet away from the Masso right now where I sit. But then I thought, well, a lot of times in the summertime when it's hot, I like to sit in there in the air conditioning of my office, which is on the other end of the house. So I went in there and set up this same Masso link. And so all of it works just like what you're seeing here on the on this screen. It's just and that's, like I said, that's something that I really didn't think would be that big a deal. But now that I've been running this a week, it's like, yeah, that's one of my favorite things about that. And I really wasn't that interested in it before. And of course, having the touch screen is big. So many other features. The tooling list, as Paul and I were talking before the show, the G2, you could put 32 tools in, and it went from 0 to 31. I don't know why they started at 0, but they did. But this one goes from 1 to, I think, 104. So you can put a lot more tools in. Just so many other cool features, and they're all done with just a touch, which is the best part. So really liking that thing. It's I knew I would, uh, but I'm probably liking it more than I thought I would. Just especially those things I mentioned, the the quick boot up, the clean install. I knew I would like that, and then the Masso link. And really, overall, this thing is, it's not any harder than anything else to set up, because no matter what type of machine and controller system you're going to use, y'all got to have drivers, and you got to know how to wire the drivers to match the stepper motors, and how to get those signal wires. And with a stepper motor, you're going to have, at least with the open loop, you're going to have at least 4 wires, 2 direction, 2 poles, that kind of thing. So as long as you keep all that stuff straight, super easy to wire in the Masso. They make it really easy. And when they got ready to send that to me, they asked me if I wanted to buy, if I was going to be buying any other accessories, and they would just ship it all out at once. And I almost bought that wiring module, which I probably should have, but but then I thought, well, what I've got using the DB25 breakout boards and DB25 cable, that's all working fine. So, my motto is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that all works fine. But I think I've got like 2 pins that are still available on that DB25. And I would need 4 more pins when I get ready to do my rotary axis. And I forgot about my rotary axis. So I'm thinking I'll either have to buy the wiring module thing that they sell, or at the very least, I mean, I've already got another pair of these. I don't have another cable. So I could either use these, or I could maybe buy a DB37 with 2 breakout boards and just add that. But at any rate, when I get ready to do the rotary axis and connect it up, I'm going to need 4 more pins, and I currently have 2 available on the one I've got now. So I forgot about that. So anywho, I will have to upgrade sometime in the future.
So while I was driving, I was listening to the show, and Jerry said something about his closed loop steppers not working right. And so if he's still out there, he said that the NEMA 17s were working right. So were the NEMA 17s also closed loop, or were they open loop?
I'm thinking they were open loop, but they might not have been. They might have been closed.
And because my wondering thought was just that, if those were open and the other ones were closed, then it's probably somewhere in the wiring there. Maybe they're still wired to the steppers that are built into the machine, or something
Jerry's
like that.
he's still out there.
Okay, so it's I mean, it's got to be a wiring problem.
He says open loop on a different machine.
Okay, so yeah, it's
Oh, okay. So he's talking about a totally different machine that uses the NEMA 17's open loop. No problem there, but
yeah,
he's having the problem with the closed loop. Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a wiring problem somewhere between
EMI it's EMI or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having a problem, or still am having a problem with G senders with Gerbil, and setting off my hard limits. As long as as long as there's power going to the stepper drivers, it sends a hard limit problem. So I mean,
excuse me.
which I don't know what's happening there, but whatever. So, but it's got to be a wiring problem there too somewhere. But craziness. Crazy.
Earl says, "Hey Dave, I like your display of your cutting boards back there." That's not technically a display, Earl. It's where they landed because I don't have anywhere else to put them. Which brings me to something I was going to bring up. Uh, I love making cutting boards. I love doing the inlay cut. In fact, I've got another order from Cutting It Close. It's going to be shipped out tomorrow, I think. That's what
Nice.
they said. So I've already got a couple more that I'm working on editing the file, and we got Halloween coming up, so I got a special one for Halloween I'm going to do. But I had to come out here one day this week, and I used that last piece of Tiger Bamex to cut a couple more of the cutting board stands. Let me show you one of those. Let's see, this is now this one doesn't have any oil or anything on it. It's just raw. But this is the Tiger material from that Bamex. And you cut these three pieces, and then you can see how these work. You squeeze on these, and you
Okay.
can pull that
Oh, that's
off.
a good
So
idea.
they're really nice because you can ship them flat, broke apart, and then the end user can throw them together, and they make, you can see they'll hold up to a probably bigger than 2-inch wide cutting board if
Yeah.
you want to. But so I had to come out here and run some more of these because I've made like 5 cutting boards now, and I just now have 5 of these uh, run. But I can already tell. I mean, like I said, I really love making the cutting boards. They're so much fun and a challenge. And I guess that's what I like about it is the challenge of seeing if you can get that file straightened out so that it'll work right with no gaps, no glue lines, all that stuff. So I like having to deal with that. But I also know old Dave don't have room to start a cutting board collection. So I was talking with Paul before. I think what I'm going to do is rather than put them on Marketplace and then have a bunch of crazy people coming to my house, which I don't like doing. I think I'm going to start throwing some of these up on the website. And if there's a cutting board that it's got a little tear out or something on it, and it's just less than perfect, and it's one that I'm really not happy with, I'll put it on my website, and it will go in like the bargain bin category. So they still make great cutting boards. They still look good. In fact, a lot of them, the stuff I see that's wrong with them, you might not be able to find it because I just know it because when you put them together and stuff, when there's some little something wrong that you don't like. But then the other ones I'll have on there, for whatever price, and then if there's something wrong with them, I'll have them in like a bargain bin thing. So if you watch one of my videos and you see me make a cutting board and you go, "Ooh, I'd like to have that one," well, that's where they'll end up being. They'll
Do it,
eventually
lady.
all end up on my website because I just don't have room. Like I said, I got one of them in the house on the counter, and then there's 4 of them over there on my laser. And then I used the laser the other day, so I had to move them from there to the CNC table, use the laser, and then when I got done, I had to move it. So yeah, it's already getting to be a problem, and I've only done 4 or 5 of them. So
You just need more horizontal surfaces. That's all you need.
well, it wouldn't matter how many I have. I'd figure out a way to fill them up.
Dave's going to be going to Christmas parties, and the people hosting are going to be going, "Oh, here comes Dave again.
Yep.
He's got another
But I do
board."
have a very cool one, if I say so myself. It's a design I've been working on for about 2 months, and I thought September's slowly slipping away. I need to get it done, but it's around. It's the Halloween theme.
Nice.
So I think it's going to turn out awesome. Just from the simulation preview I see in VCar Pro. So, and then I got a whole bunch more in the queue that, because like I said, I've been playing around with the AI, generate me a line drawing for this, and then I get it. And it's like I can't stop. I just keep thinking of other cool stuff. And so I'm going to be making, in fact, I think, I was kind of holding off because, fortunately, Masso selected me as their winner for that showcase, but I wasn't going to enter every month. I thought I'm going to enter this video for the month of August. If I win, I win. If I don't, I guess I'm just going to buy one. But fortunately, since I won that one, which saved me about $1,500, now I can spend $1,500 on a drum sander.
There you go.
So don't be surprised if in the very near future you see a drum sander right back here, because I've got my hose coming down from my dust collection. But I'm really wanting to get one of those Laguna Supermax 1632s, I think it is, and they run, depending on whether you get the extra fold-out tables and all, they're going to run right around $1,500, I think so. But I'm thinking, well, I didn't have to spend $1,500 to get that Masso, so I'll just buy myself a Christmas present.
There you go.
And get me a drum sander. So that'll be next, and that will really help with the cutting board things, I think, because I do spend a lot more time, after I've put the inlay, glued the inlay in, and you surface it off. Since I don't have a drum sander to run it through to get it, most of it knocked off, you still got to use the Orville sander some, but I'm using everything with the Orville sander, and it just takes a lot of time. So anyway, there's that. So if you see a cutting board you like, it'll be for sale eventually on my website, just so I can get rid of them. And it's either that or they go in the fire pit, and it'll be some of the prettiest firewood I've ever made. But
Jerry, he's getting Jack a drum sander.
Yeah. Jack doesn't. Well, I don't want to talk too loud because he's probably right on the other side of that door listening. But I've already done my Christmas shopping for him, and you can guess what I get him every year at Christmas, because you see pictures when I post on Facebook. Sometimes he'll have a little something laying beside him. He gets a new one of those every Christmas, because usually the one that he got the year before is pretty raggedy by the time. He's actually got 4. A lot of people think they see that one and go, "Oh, it's his little thing there," and he's actually got 4 of them. But they're all in. Some of them the squeaker doesn't work.
Yeah.
Some of them where I've sewed them up, he's ripped it back out, and they're missing half the little cotton stuff. So, but that's what he gets every year.
That's awesome. Ranger would never let any toys last long enough to have them like that. We would go to over to the PetSmart or whatever, and they have like the $5 plushie animals or whatever, and some of them would last 10 minutes. I mean, he would have, if it had like an ear or something like that, he would rip it off and eat it, and he would just destroy these things. But so he would never have anything around long enough.
Yeah,
Sage,
Jack,
on the other hand, Sage will grab it and she'll shake it and like let go and let it fly off, and then she'll just walk away.
Yeah. Jack, he'll get his and he'll bring them in, to me to try to get it from him. And sometimes if he lets me have it, I'll throw it and he'll run and get it. He'll grab it. He'll hunt for that squeaky part, squeak it a few times, and then he's due for a nap. That's the way he is. He's not big time. And the ones he has kind of tore open, it's just by accident. He's not really that hard on them. But yeah, Marcelo, if you're gonna go big, right? I'm pretty far down in the hole for cutting boards, and they're just so dadgum fun to make. In fact, this week, it was yesterday, I thought, well, it's going to be a few days before I get my stuff from cutting it close. So what can I do? I want to make something. So I thought, oh, well, when I bought the Southern Yellow Pine to do the chit and the other plain board, I'd also bought two 2x6s, and they were still out around back in the shop. So I went back around there and I go, well, let me go cut these up and glue these up. I'll make another pine thing. Maybe I'll try to do another chit, only this time I'll do it in that Padalk where it's, brighter contrast and stuff. And man, I got all the pieces cut to 2 feet long. I trim an 1/8 inch off of both sides of them to get rid of that radius on the edge. And then I grabbed one, and the first one I went to put through cutting I think I was cutting like an inch and I think it was like 1.5 inches. I was going to cut them in strips. I got about 6 inches in, and that board went, started pinching, and it got ready to throw that thing back at me, and I'm like, nah, screw this. I'll let this stuff sit out here a while and finish drying or whatever, because although I got one of those meters or those little
Moisture meter.
moisture meter things, and I had two 2x6s. One of them was just under 10%, and the other one was about 11 to 12, something like that, which isn't bad. But man, I hate when you go to cut them and they immediately start pinching in like that. And I need to go. I have a riving knife for my saw, but I never use it. I always have just a MDF zero clearance insert in there. I need to take that thing out and put the other plate back in and use my riving knife. Then it wouldn't pinch like that. But yeah, I went to do it and I felt it, start to kick back, and I'm like, nah, not today.
Yep.
Not today.
Man.
So crazy. I guess I'm waiting, and I don't know why I got a call, and I never answer my phone because I have about a total of 3 people that might call me, and each one of those has their own custom ringtone. So if it's just a regular ringtone, I know it's either a telemarketer or your extended car warranty or one of those kind of things. So I never answered it, but when I looked at it, it was someplace in Texas, and then it looked familiar, and I go, that looks like that might be Cutting It Close calling me. Why are they calling me? So I let it go to voicemail, and sure enough, there was some gal calling to let me know my stuff was going to ship Thursday, and I'm like, okay, well, that's great, but I don't know why they called me. unless they were thinking that, because I did order it Monday, maybe they thought that I'd be mad that it was going to take that long. But, it is what it is. But if they ship it tomorrow, I'll probably still get it by Saturday, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sweet.
Oh, and one more thing we done used up our hour. We're on that third half of the show again. I started doing something different. I've changed my hold down method.
Okay.
I've been seeing other people do it. For some reason, I've never done it. I've always used, the old homemade clamps and stuff. But this is what I'm doing now.
Oh, okay.
Just sticking them in there, because I've got dog holes all over the place. And I'm thinking I don't really need to to drag out that little L-shaped thing. I just, as long as I have it stuck against some dogs somewhere, and then put these in here and
Mm-hmm.
wedge them in until they get tight. And I got a shorter pair for the other side. So I think I'm going to go with that. I've seen a lot of the other guys that do cutting boards. That's how they do it. And I always wondered if they work. And I thought, well, this is just scrap plywood. Let me cut a couple of them and try it out. And sure enough, it holds great.
That's cool.
But you still got to drag out the clamps if you got something that's bowed up and you need to pull corners down, because that doesn't do it. If you got something that's good and flat like a cutting board and you just need to hold it in place, those will work great. But I've still got a ton of wooden clamps and plenty of spares. I won't ever have to run any more of those. So
I can't wait to see the next squirrel of the cutting board.
yeah, it's going to be a good. I got a bunch of good ones, I think, coming up. I'm still kind of on the fence to, I may try to find that. I think it was Russ. What's his name? I don't know if he's out there, but he sent me a link to that. We were talking about that KJP wood place that was up in Canada. And he says, "Oh, there's this place. I can't remember the name of it now, but I've got it saved on my computer." But he sent me a link that's in North Carolina where you can buy material and they'll pack it up and send it to you. So I may. Marcella's got 3 boards on the go at different stages. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, I found, because when I was doing the pine experiment, I could actually work on something else while one of them was in the press.
Russ Gare.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, but he sent me a link, and I can't think of the name of that place. I'll think of it as soon as we get off of here. But anyway, it was in North Carolina, I think it was. So that would be much better place as far as shipping for me, because that's not that far from me. So
Cool.
they probably got spiders there too.
Yeah. Sure do. Sure do.
No, mine are like this, Jerry. I've got different size dogs, but all my holes are 3/4 inch, and then I 3D printed these. So this is 3/4, and then this part's an inch. But they just poke down in the hole, and then you got something you can kind of get a grip on. Then I made some that are a little taller, like that.
WP Hardwoods.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. That's not ringing the bell.
That's
But
that's
what
what
Russ
Russ Gare says. It's WP Hardwoods.
okay, well that must be it if he's saying it, because he's the one that sent me the link. But
Pretty awesome.
yeah, some people use 1 inch and then use the PVC stuff and all that. But I figure with a 3D printer, might as well make them like this. And if I hit one and screw it up, I can always print some more. I got a whole bunch of them anyway. When I printed them out the first time, I did pretty much a build plate full of them. So
And those are 100% infill.
what's that?
Are those 100% infill?
I think I only went 50 on those because I didn't feel that. In fact, I've got one I think in here, unless I threw it away. I think I've got one where I hit it. Well, I don't see it now. I might have already thrown it away. I've also made some other things too. And I haven't even used these, but I made these things. Now, these will go in the dog hole, and then you can shove as long as you're not got anything too thick, shove it under there, and it'll keep it from raising up as well. So I hadn't even used these. Here's the. Well, I know I got one in there somewhere that I'd already hit, but I guess I threw it away.
Russ says it's West Penn, but the website is WP Hardwoods.
He said what?
It's West Penn Wood Supply.
Oh, okay. That's why it didn't sound familiar. Yeah, it's West Penn Hardwoods.
The
And the
website
website is WP Hardwoods. Yeah, that's it. Well, I appreciate you sending me that link, Russ. I'll eventually get around to placing an order with them. You never need 100% for anything. Just use Joro or something for infill.
Well, I know
Don't
you
say
don't
never,
need
because I print a lot of stuff 100%.
I was just going to say the Dave way is 100%.
Yeah.
I've never printed 100%, but I know the Dave way is 100%.
If it's something you're gonna put, because see, I don't have good luck putting threads in 3D printed parts with the 3D printer. So what I do is I just print an undersized hole just to mark the hole location. Then when I get it out here, I use the proper size drill bit and the tap. And if you do them 100%, it's just like almost like tapping HDPE or something. But if you don't do 100% infill and you hit the least little void, them screws won't stay in. So when I'm tapping stuff, I go ahead, or know I'm going to tap stuff, I go ahead and do it 100% infill. It's just cheap filament anyway. Right? Can't take it with you.
Marcelo's got a question for you there.
Righty. Let's see. Let's bring it up here.
Russ, next time I go down to South Kakalaki, I might have to stop there.
Where is oh, here it is, I think. Is this it? Are you finding that the press helps keep the board flat in the glue up? Well, that first one I did, the first one I did was the American Bison. That one came out of the press and was still humped up. I had to wait a day for it to flatten back out. But the other 2 or 3 that I've done, well, 2, because that one wasn't an inlay, but the one I did with the pine with chit, and the one that I did of Idaho.
Yeah.
This one here, good old Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho looks good.
The land of the taters.
Yep.
This one stayed flat. And I really thought this one would move because, you're taking a big chunk out of the middle. But for some reason, it stayed flat. So it's kind of hit or miss, I guess. When I pull them out of the press, I kind of expect them to not be flat. And then if they are, I'm pleasantly surprised. And I don't know if that press has anything to do with that or not. But, if I'm putting the inlay in the afternoon, doesn't matter whether it's 1 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon or whatever, when it goes in the press, I'm not going to pull it out until the next morning anyway. So I just leave them in there overnight. That's why it's nice if you try and do two at once, because then you can put that one in the press, and while it's sitting in there, you throw another one on the machine
Mm-hmm.
and have something to do.
Need to start selling them.
I do like that press though, Marcelo. I don't know if you've got one or not. I don't remember if you ever said, but you know, that thing was two, and this is without any coupons. I didn't even wait around for a coupon. Uh, I think it was $249 or something, and then I had another $30 or so worth of casters, which it'll probably never move from that spot back there. But I'm still glad. I like to put stuff on casters that's heavy because I don't like having
If
to.
you ever do need to move it,
Yeah, it's just so
move
easy
it.
to move it. I mean, they're locking casters, so. But I really like that thing. It's just so much easier than, you know, you get the inlay in, and you got to figure out how to put all them clamps and all that kind of stuff on it, and calls and all that. It's just easier just to have something, you just slide it in and crank her down. Yeah, Marcelo says he doesn't have one. Yeah. If you're going to keep doing them, you might well think about getting one, at least one of the smaller ones. But that's everybody that I watched on YouTube, like Two Moose Design and Browen Wood and Scott over there at M&S Woodworks. All three of those guys have a 20-ton Harbor Freight press. So I thought, well, and they make another one that I think is 7-ton or something like that, which would probably be okay. But this one is bigger.
Yeah.
You can put something about 22 inches wide in this one.
It's
So
probably why they get that one.
yeah, because some of them make the bigger, thick, you know, not really cutting board. What do you call them? Butcher block type things.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Very cool.
yeah.
Clyde says, Marcel, use your wine press. Man, with all the crazy inlays that Marcelo does, I'm actually surprised he doesn't have a press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to group different points on my CNC self-tapping screws to frame. I tell you what you do, Jerry. Let me get one.
He actually meant ground, but
These kind of things here, and they make them in different. This one here is an 8 position. There's 8 screws on each side. This one here is a 12 position. But this is what I do. I mount one of these somewhere, and if I'm going to make like a bus bar for grounding, all you got to do is have one wire, because you can use these. You can see how these work. Yeah, and you can get these usually when you buy these, they come in strips. These have been cut, but you could put them where they go all the way down, and then here so you'd have 6 negative and 6 positive. Or if you're just using it as a grounding bus bar type thing, you can put a 12 thing of this all the way down this side, and then that ties all of them in together. And then just put all your ground wires going to different things here, and then have one wire from here to your metal frame. You know, screw it. That way you don't have to run a bunch of different wires to a spot. Just run them all to this, but make sure that this is tied into a good ground. So that's the way I do it.
there you go.
And these are cheap. You buy these on Amazon, you get a whole bag full of them for 10 or 15 bucks, I think. I have a ton of them in here, all different sizes. All right, well, we've been on here an hour and a half. I need to shut up and get off of here. I guess, oh, he's got a press. It's just not a hydraulic press. He's got
Manual.
he made one similar to the cutting it close one. I saw the video on that, and I don't know, there's something about it I didn't like. I like this one that it's bigger, it's on wheels. I think that one he did, he's got it where he takes it apart and puts it back together. I don't want to fool with that. I just want one where when I pull it off, I just shove it in there and crank it down and go.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
I guess it'd probably work all right. It seems to work well for him. I just didn't want to build one of those. Super chest. Welcome. Yeah, I got a drum sander to buy.
Good times.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll get out of here. Mr. Paul, you got any words of wisdom you want to add before we get out of here?
Nope, fresh out of wisdom.
Okay. What about you, Ryan? You got
Well, we got the show on Saturday night over on my channel if you want to come and hang out with us. And if you're have any interest in seeing the progress of the Ranger CNC rebirth, go check it out on Facebook and join that group. So good times. That's it for me.
all righty. Well, I guess before we go, I will add, because I didn't mention a while ago, I've been bragging on my Masso G3 Touch tonight. And we've talked about this before, but they're now doing that tier level thing, the portfolio, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get into these controllers for a lot cheaper than what you used to could, because you might just have a basic machine where all you need is the essential, or maybe you got a few bells and whistles, so you go to the core instead of the advanced. So they're a great controller. I'm just crazy about this one I got, because I knew when I set up that G2 and it ran so good, I'm like, man, the only thing I didn't like about it is not having the touch screen.
Yeah.
But now that I got this one and got not only the touch screen, but all these other cool things like the Masso link that I showed a while ago, stuff like that, it's like I could never go back to anything else. In fact, I kept saying, well, when I get this G3 on here, now I've still got the G2 sitting around not being used. I'll have to build another machine. But I know that if I ever build another machine, it'll get one of these G2 or G3 Massos. They're
So
just
how do you like the Masso interface as compared to Mach 3?
As compared to what?
Mach 3.
Oh, it's just a night and day difference. I'm an old Mach 3 user, have been for years. Still have a licensed version of it, so I could run it on anything. But the difference is, like when I had that little Sidewinder back here behind me, and even though I had that touch screen on that little monitor mount, kind of like what that is, and that worked great because the touchscreen worked with that, but you still had to have a computer down under there. You got more wires because you got the power cord going to the monitor. You've got the USB going to the monitor that works the touchscreen part of it. You've got the VGA cable that's going from the monitor down to the computer. And you've got the computer and a power cord running from. You see what I'm getting at? It's like you got all this stuff. It's just so nice to have a more modern user interface like the Masso G3 Touch and have it in such a nice little compact package. Um, it's it's just the way to go, I think. And like I said, even when I'm watching other YouTube videos and I'm watching one of those other brands that use other brands of CNC machines that have Masso, then they got that big old wad of wires, and I just shake my head like, man, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
That's just a Mickey Mouse way to do stuff.
Yep. Cleaned it up.
And Masso sells that wiring module, so I don't know why nobody said, hey, we're going to incorporate that and make this a really clean thing. No, they just had a bunch of wires going every which way. So, whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. All right. Well, we're going into the fourth half of the show now. Time to get out of here. I appreciate everybody hanging around. Hit the thumbs up on the way out if you haven't already. I appreciate you. And we will, I guess, see y'all next week. Get over here ready to hit the button. There we go. All right. Good night, everybody. See y'all next week. Go watch Ryan Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, making it up as we go.
There we go. Thank you, sir.